Instagram Live again. Hello. We're live via Instagram and via YouTube. Let's get it. So, the camera angle on the YouTube is better, on the Instagram is better than the YouTube. Today, we are going to talk about Hou Kui. I have a Hou Kui on the website, and in just the madness that has been this last few weeks, I haven't talked about it. But I have a Hou Kui. I have a very, very limited amount. I only bought half a pound, and so half a pound is going to be like 8 ounces in total, give or take, not including stuff I drink myself. And 3 of those ounces have already been sold. Once again, give or take. So that leaves me with about 5 ounces left. If I just weigh it out, it's going to get right into it. It's good. There's something about like sticking the Hou Kui. Oh, that's I forgot to calibrate my scale. There's something about sticking the Hou Kui, like or placing the Hou Kui so like the stems are down. That might be just for grandpa style though. I don't know. I hear about that sometimes, but I'm not really clear what's the point or what's the. Yeah, I don't really feel like what's the point, what's the benefit to that. All right, so getting in here, going for 4 grams. Perfect, 4 grams. My water cool. No, I'm not going to let my water cool. Nope, going to accidentally turn it back on. That's what I'm going to do. So, Nelden. The tea orders have gone to the shipper. I broke them up over a couple of days, making sure everything was right, everything was packaged well. The majority of them, I've given the shipper the address, and so it'll probably be a few. Usually, I give her the address, and then I wait a few days, and then like a few days later, she gives me the tracking number. I think her company waits until the teas have successfully left China. And they've successfully left China. There's no problems. Yada yada. I think that's what they wait for, and then they give me the tracking number. That way, because when she gives me the tracking number, that's when I pay. So that way, if there's any mistakes, she knows. Yeah, it is a nice Hou Kui. I'm actually a little surprised. It actually looks a little bit better than I thought it would. It's thicker. It's thicker than the last one I got. It's more folded over. This is that folded over. And this one's a little thin. That's a little strange, but that's okay. You always get the weird ones in there. That's okay. For Hou Kui, I did not pay a super high price. And that one's a little thin. I don't love that one. But like these two are good. For Hou Kui, I did not pay a super high price for this. I thought the price is pretty even to what I got. Knowing that it's not the best Hou Kui in the world, but also knowing I didn't pay the highest price. I think as I start adding more teas to the catalog, more teas to the website, I think people are really gonna start to understand just how cheap Mao Feng is. Compared to other teas, and actually compared to other teas, like Mao Feng is really affordable. Just the price you pay to get that top quality stuff. Like the Mao Fengs on the website, maybe there's a better Mao Feng out there, but I have not tried it. I have not found a producer who makes a better Mao Feng than the Hogu, than the Chashan, than the Shishian. To my knowledge, and I would love to be proven wrong, but I would love to be given a better Mao Feng. To my knowledge, that's some of the best Mao Fengs on the market. or in that kind of top tier. And so 20 something dollars an ounce, and I actually did the math and I realized it should be like 25, but maybe next year. Yeah, the Maofangs. And so to get like that top tier quality for that price is really, really, really something. And I think people are gonna understand that a little more as other teas hit the website. And you see, I mean, the Hou Kui is double the price. Yenchas are looking to be double the price. I put a yellow tea on the website, double the price. Maofeng is really not an expensive tea, and there's more expensive ones, but yeah, and that has to do a lot with just the market. You know, people are not Maofeng right now is not a super popular tea. You know, there's not a very high demand for it like there is Yansha, like there is white teas and all these other teas where the price is going up. Maofeng is staying more or less the same, maybe a little bit popular. That's Hou Kui. Hou Kui just has. Oh my God! It's all hype. It's yeah, no, it's hype. It's hype. It's branding. It's one of my favorite tea sellers, tea experts, tea masters, if you will, just a guy who just knows a shit ton about tea. He's the guy who connected me with the yellow tea. He told me that Hou Kui is like the Louis Vuitton of teas, where it's just it's so much about that shape and saying you have that shape and saying you have that shape and going like I have Hou Kui, I have a Louis bag, I have Hou Kui, I'm giving you a gift, oh it's Hou Kui. It's that sort of, it's a lot of it is that. And this was especially true when gift giving was a thing you did to government officials, which has now been outlawed. You used to give tea as gifts to government officials so you could get favors later. It was like a pre-bribe. And it was just a major part of just Chinese culture. And I was talking with a guy who has a Hou Kui company, and it was me, and we had a mutual friend, and we're all talking. And he said that in the weeks leading up to Chinese New Year, he would fill a van with boxes of Hou Kui and just make enough money to sustain the whole year. Like he just off of that van of Hou Kui, he would make enough money for the year. Because that he would just go up to people who wanted to give Hou Kui as a gift to Chinese officials. And in gift giving cultures, the price is a big thing. It's not just I'm giving you this tea. It's I'm giving you this tea because this tea has this price point. I'm giving you a 3,000 yuan tea, a 30,000 yuan tea. And so it's not so much about the tea as it is about the price point. And this goes with a lot of any brand really. So I gotta get a cup. I'm gonna get Fahad. Yeah, and I think Longjing is a little different because Longjing I think has a little bit more of a has a little bit more of its popularity based less on the shape. For Hou Kui, it's just so much of that shape, which is why the really really fake ones are so funny. Well, I mean it's so much of the shape. Um, Longjing, from my understanding, is popular in part because it was a favorite of one of the last emperors of the Qing dynasty, and that popularity has kind of carried through. Um, so at least that got popular a little more by tea drinkers, It's good. Looking at the oils, I'm like, is my cup dirty or those tea oils? So I'm just hoping those are tea oils. So I'm suspicious. Just to be sure. Just to be sure. Oh, those are like just tea oils. Yeah, I think I'm okay. Because any tea is a gift tea. Any of the famous teas are a gift tea. I'm sure Maofeng is a gift tea. But I think also, and now I'm thinking out loud, I think especially for I think especially in Anhui, I think a lot of I think Hou Kui is especially this Louis Vuitton sort of thing in Anhui. I don't think Maofeng is really that. Maofeng and Qimen. Qimen is a pretty kind of common. It's a little more of the normal drinkers tea. It's a little more. It's just recently getting popular, but before that, it wasn't really popular. Maofeng is good, and then you have Luan Guap, and you have other stuff up north. But I think a lot of the hype of Hou Kui at least started in Anhui. It's an Anhui famous Louis Vuitton tea, and then the price, and then it's definitely expanded. But it definitely got famous in the local region. Longjing, I would say, is a little more famous amongst China. Longjing's a more famous tea. First steep. That first steep is just always like it's just always kind of I always get a little nervous because I'm always like I really don't judge by the first steep. I really need to see other steepings. Because for this one, I might have gone a little bit light. Brewing Hou Kui is one of the harder ones to brew Gongdaobei style. Because Gongdaobei, you are so focused on, well, you're not so focused on, but you judge so much by the leaf and how is the leaf expanding, how is the leaf, that's when you kind of judge the steeps when to pour. How much is it expanded? How much is it? What's it looking like? And for most teas, it's about how much is the tea dropping. Well, Hou Kui doesn't drop; it stands up. It's a good Hou Kui. It's a good Hou Kui. It's just a good, solid Hou Kui. And Hou Kui, and it's funny. I always joke that Hou Kui is like the cousin of Longjing, who like went to jail and got really buff. Because you see similar notes as Longjing, where you see kind of this like chestnutty, kind of toasty, not toasty roasty, but like that toasted chestnut sort of thing, nutty, vegetal. But everything is just a little bit stronger. Everything is just a little bit. Everything's just more developed, yeah. And I don't. It's not strong in the sense of it's more bitter, but strong in the sense of like it's just more developed. These flavors, like it went to jail and it got buff. And there's a crispness that Hou Kui has that also is very, very, for me, is what I look for in a Hou Kui, that like that chestnutty note has a crisp, has a to it, has a to it. It's not a smooth, rounded off chestnut note. It's not an airy chestnut note. Aromatic. It's not, it's not like that. Like what you might get in a Longjing. I gotta plug in my laptop real quick. It has you're gonna say this. It has that chestnutty note, has some oomph to it. And the vegetal is stronger too. The vegetal is in Hou Kui, the vegetal is more of a note. It's not like sometimes you get a green tea and the vegetal notes, and the vegetals are more kind of like these pea, like cooked pea, soft in the background, kind of a backdrop. For Hou Kui, the vegetal note and it's not overly vegetal though. And I think, and this is, I always get a little, because I'm not a fan of the vegetal note, so I always get a little like, I always have to be very careful when I talk about vegetal. It's not overly vegetal, but it's clear. Let's see if I can give you a vegetable here. Okra, kind of like, oh yeah, I think okra. Actually, I do like this. That's that okra. This is Hou Kui. We're drinking Hou Kui actually. All the Malfungs are in. All the Malfungs are in and have gone out. Gold Mountain Tea, yours. I still have to send out the ones that's the sample for you. I still have to sell out to. So first, there's people who I'm sending out samples and gifts. Shout out to the tea company whose name T-Log, like T-Log. And so first, I need to send out the people who have paid for the tea. Like I think we can all understand that people who paid for the tea and have been waiting. I'm going to send them out first, and then I'm going to send out the people who are the gifts. So shout out to T-Log. I know I owe T-Log. I don't owe T-Log. I want to give T-Log some Malfung. I told T-Log I would. Okra. I think okra is cooked okra. I think is a really actually good idea for this. Like if you just like chopped okra and you just stir fried it, because it's that sort of level of vegetalness, but it's also okra has that sort of to it that, but at the same time there is this gooiness to okra. There is this softness. There is this, this kind of gooey, soft, not savory, but little juiciness to okra, and that's in here too. And I think that's actually a very important thing. I can't skip over is Hou Kui. Also, Hou Kui. Hou Kui is. There is a savoriness to Hou Kui. There is a softness. There's a soft savoriness to it too, which this one has, and this is, this one is a little more compared to like let's say top tier Hou Kuis. This one is a little more forward. It's a little more. It's a little simpler in the flavors, and which I think a lot of people though might appreciate, but it's not. It is complex, but it's not super complex. It's a very easy tea to appreciate. Like I know Sohan Fan is selling. Sohan Fan is selling some handmade Hou Kui, and that one's going to be much more complex. And I don't know what picking he's getting, what making he's getting, but that one's going to be much more complex. Softer but more complex. This one has stronger, and this is the normal path of flavors. This one is stronger but a little less complex. The notes are more bold. The notes are more clear. There it is. Hou Kui, when you're brewing Hou Kui, you need to turn up the heat a little bit more because you're dealing with bigger leaves. You got to add that just that little bit more. I've heard people, and I should try it, talk about boiling water, boiling or near boiling water. You're dealing with bigger leaves, and you just need a little bit more to get those flavors out. Yeah, and I think I was using this whole session. I was drinking it, and I was in my head. I'm kind of just like, flavors seem kind of light here, and I was like, no, it's because the water temperature is too cool. That's a little liquid. Yeah, there it is. There it is. And now the savoriness is actually so much more. It's actually brighter now. It's brighter. The savoriness is more. Um, the vegetalness is a little more calmed down, a little more balanced. I was getting real kind of nervous there for a second, actually. And that crispness, that I'm gonna just call it the okra crispness. It lingers. And this is actually for me, Hou Kui was a tea where I didn't get it right away. I was working at Tea Drunk. I'm like, I was like, okay, here's this super expensive tea, and I kept kind of drinking it and drinking it. Like it was good, but like I didn't get it. I wasn't like, I was like, like what am I, what's happening here? But I remember I was in community college at the time, and and I was so I'm working at Tea Drunk, and then like the next day, and I'm working at Tea Drunk, and I'm trying to understand Hou Kui, and I'm drinking a bunch of it. I'm not really getting it. Like it's it's good, but I don't get the price. I don't get the flavor profile. And then I'm sitting in class like a day or two later, and I just get the mouthfeel, like this mouthfeel, this okra sort of like it's almost like an astringency, but it's an astringency that makes you salivate, and it's that chestnutty goodness, we'll just call it. I'm just sitting in class, and that taste enters my mouth, and like my mouth like almost wanted that. It was like craving it, and I was just like, oh, I get it now. I get it now. And it was funny because like a week or two later, I used to work with this guy named and he same thing. He didn't really get Hou Kui, and I told him about my experience, and then like a week or two later, he was like, same thing. He was like, same thing happened. He's like, I get it. I got the same feeling. Um, mm, yeah, Hou Kui. Oh, Hou Kui. Oh, my computer became unplugged. Plug it in for it, guys. Come on, stay with me here. I have. Oh my god, are you kidding me? Stay on the wall. Come on. Oh, fucking shit. Why would you make the adapter or the charging head so heavy that it pulls the thing out of the wall? Two things I have, internet-wise. I have a YouTube channel. Right now, I have my phone here, and I have my phone is resting on my computer. So this is on my YouTube. For the past few weeks, my Instagram, my VPN hasn't really been working, so all of my tastings have been on YouTube. There's a couple new tastings on YouTube, so you can check that out. I also have a Discord. I kind of want some more people in the Discord. Right now, the Discord is really cool because there's only like 2 or 3 people in there, maybe 3 or 4 people in there, which is nice. It's just like it's easy to join in and be caught up in the conversation. Like one of the reasons I like Discord, but I hate like posting something and then coming back 10 minutes later and like everyone's moved on. And I'm like, wait, no, I need to see if anyone responded. But it's a smaller group and there's inside jokes, a lot of jokes and all that. And so, yeah, I've been dropping the Discord links in my YouTube videos, and I'll drop it. But if you want the Discord link, you can DM me and I'll give you the Discord link. All right. Bada bing, bada boom. Yeah, it's really cool. And then I like Discord. I think Discord. I like having my own Discord because I have a thing with a section for just like literature, where like if anyone has been reading something and they think it's interesting or they think it like relates to tea, they post it in there. So it's been a lot of like philosophy, actually, a lot of like stoicism. There's some David Waldron posted in there. David Waldron's Walking was in there. It's a good. I like Discord because it's a good place to post things that don't really have a good spot anywhere else. You can create space for things. And of course, there's a section for my dogs. Oh, by the way, and I keep meaning to update, for the dog donations, the dog shelter, thanks everyone who's posted. I keep meaning to do a post about all the amount of money that got raised for the dogs. The shelter is really improved. The shelter has added concrete to places, because it used to be just like basically a dirt pit almost, but now they're beginning to fortify areas where the dirt is coming loose and paved floors and all that. So it's really, really good. Really happy to see all that. See, I think I understeeped the tea, and so I still have some life in this tea, actually. In about probably tonight or tomorrow, 12 to 24 hours, I'm going to do another tasting because the yellow tea is on the website. This is actually the same yellow tea that One River Tea sells in their sampler pack. And this is a really cool thing. I talked to One River Tea, and basically, what we're going to do is, so we both sell the same yellow tea, but I only sell it in 1 ounce and more, and they sell it as part of their sampler pack, the yellow tea sampler, which I really, really highly recommend if you want to understand yellow teas. So One River Tea. So if you just want to try the tea, or you want to try it against other yellow teas to really understand it, which I really, really recommend. that is yellow. Go to One River Tea, get their yellow tea sampler box. Because yellow tea is also a tea that is very, very underrepresented, and I think a lot of you have had yellow teas that didn't really represent yellow teas, and therefore you almost like don't know yellow teas in a way. Like you don't really know. And I kind of feel harsh saying that, but like a lot of you, I think I'm kind of assuming here, have had yellow teas that don't accurately reflect the yellow tea flavor. So you haven't really had yellow teas. You get this One River Tea yellow tea sampler box, it is going to jumpstart your understanding because they have this yellow tea, which is a handmade Huangyan from northern Anhui. And then, so it's a really good yellow tea, but then they have like a more basic yellow tea, a yellow tea, which represents what I think a lot of you have had. And then they have a third yellow tea. And I don't know what the third yellow tea is, but this handmade versus the market standard is really going to push it. It's really going to amplify that difference. So the yellow tea flavor, and it's tricky. And the reason I think a lot of you haven't had a good yellow tea flavor is because yellow tea is very, very similar to green tea. And even to the point where a lot of the yellow teas on the market, that yellow tea flavor, that yellow tea mouthfeel, that feeling, that characteristics, isn't enough to really separate it from green teas. You know, a lot of yellow teas, it just basically tastes like a green tea, if not tastes exactly like a green tea. Yellow teas, I would say the first main difference of yellow teas and green teas is in that mouthfeel. Yeah, exactly. And that's and the other thing is that like I see some like I'm very curious about Mengding Huangya. I think it's Huangya, the Mengding yellow tea. Because I see some of the stuff like coming out of there, and I'm like, what the fuck is that? Yeah, and that's where like I feel like a lot of the yellow teas on the market just kind of taste like it's like a green tea with this kind of like to it. For me, especially with the yellow tea that's somewhere, the main difference is the main characteristic is just this mouthfeel, and it's thicker, it's richer. I can only really describe it as the fermented mouthfeel. And it's similar to a mouthfeel you might get in a silver needle. It's similar to a mouthfeel you might get. I kind of want to connect it. There's like if you've had sauerkraut and there's that fermented taste. Yellow tea has that, and the mouthfeel is thicker, it's richer, it's savory, it's soupy. There it is. We're talking like chicken soup, chicken broth. Not always heavily, but it's just a little more thicker. And the flavors are bolder. The flavors are more forward. The flavors are richer. You know, it's less about refreshing and airy and aromatic. It's more about that boom, that inner, that really frontal taste. And it is, you know, even a real yellow tea is going to be very similar to a green tea. And I don't, you know, you're going to drink a yellow tea and it's going to, you know, you're going to go, oh, yeah, this tastes like a green tea, and it can very easily be mistaken for a green tea. But yellow teas definitely have something to offer that green teas don't. If I didn't have 100 things plugged in right now, if I didn't have to feed my dogs, Yeah, fuck it. Let's do the yellow tea. We can just do the yellow tea right now. Because it's literally right here, like within reaching distance. Get into this yellow tea. And I'm going to do I'll do probably a separate, I'm going to do a separate thing about yellow tea later. But as long as we're on the conversation. All right, so let's first of all, let's look at the color, because I think the color is a good indicator, and I don't know how much you guys can see. Yellow tea is darker. I mean, what's my battery on my phone? Okay, I'm good on my phone. Yellow tea is a darker color. You know, it's greener, but you're starting to get that kind of browner green, the darker greens. There is a color difference. And in fact, if I was given a green tea and it had this color, I would be very worried. How am I doing time-wise? Okay, 36. Why did I do that? That was dumb. I poured the green tea from one pitcher to another, just does nothing. There's no benefit. You see, it's passing my drinking test. One of the ways I test if a tea is good is, do I drink it? If a tea is not that good, I won't really, like, part of me won't really want to finish it, and I'll end up dumping it out. But if a tea is good, then I won't dump it out. And like, almost subconsciously, I don't go, this tea is good, I don't want to dump it out. I just don't dump it out. I'm running out of water. Give me a second. I got to do some stuff and dump some stuff. It is Monday, isn't it? Yep, what's up, Myung Cha? All right. Oh, we just finished the Hou Kui. We're about to get into the yellow tea. Do I have my scale below me? I do. This pea somewhere. I gotta do some unplugging and replugging and this, that, and the third. All right. 5 grams, 4 grams, 4 grams. 4 grams, but I gotta say, I am a fan of overpacking. Which that is actually like low-key a little stressful. Like, I'm always happy to hear that, but that's like low-key a little stressful for me. Where I'm just like, especially this year, where this year I've had to buy Maofeng without going to Huangshan. That's like, this is like a weird pressure to like I really hope I got the right ones, basically. I really hope people like it. Like in the past, I was able to be like, I was able to try 10, go to the shops, try 10 and be like, you know what, I think this is the best one. Now I have to like message the makers and be like, hey, you remember that one I got last year? Like, I want that one again. And hope that it's as good, or hope that people like it as much. I'm gonna add now. Yeah, thank you. Oh God, that smell of corn water, like cooked corn. Like you get that corn smell, it's a good chance it's yellow. If it doesn't have that corn smell, I'm not really sure what you're drinking. Yellow tea. We're getting into the Huangyan Yellow Tea. I think I get some pictures of them making. Um, that's stressful, especially me because I'm so picky. I'm so like, and that's the nice thing. But that's the nice thing about the cha shan. The cha shan, I just got like all the fucking pickings. I just said like, the whole goo. The whole goo is the one where I'm really like, and it's good this year. Don't get me wrong. Like I wouldn't sell it if it wasn't good. But the back of my head, I was like, would the next picking would have been better? Like, but I don't think so. I saw pictures of the next picking and it looked too big. You have like, you have full concrete. I will basically put anything on a t-shirt. I won't say no to anything unless it's real bad. But yeah, ooh, man, I have not eaten breakfast actually or lunch. I guess at this point. Why am I smelling water? What's the aroma of this water? I'm getting water notes and a little bit of a hint of steam. A little glass Gong Dao Bay in there. Mm-hmm. I've tried to have like a few people do t-shirts for me, and like I've approached one or two people, and it's always kind of that same problem of like they ask me what do I want, and it's like I don't know. You tell me what should I do, and it's almost too vague for them. That's the vibe I got. I should have. Oh, I can still. I do this sometimes. I like. Why do I wait? I'm gonna pour it back and forth to make it cool faster. I won't say no to anything except like yanchas and green teas and gaiwans. I'm so excited that this year I'm commissioning a heavy roast water curtain cave. That's just going to be so good. Yeah, I mean, in the past, I've kicked around ideas with like, I like my whites fresh, my yanchas heavy, and my something something. I like my greens fresh, my puers old, and my porcelain white. I don't know, something like that. Of course, you got to get some do the do. What are you doing? Hey, what are you doing? What do you think you're doing? What are you doing? Don't go metaphysical on me. Don't try and get tricky here. This is not a court case. A glass guy one is a guy one. And once again, granted, I mean, the reason I do Gong Dao Bei, yeah, that's true. And for all the things I think I like, I'm now finding exceptions for. Like, I don't like aged Yencha, except for the 2013 Purple Red Robe. Which, guys, if you haven't checked out that 2013 Purple Red Robe, oh boy, oh buddy, oh guy, oh me, oh my, oh guy. I also realized, though, one of the things I'm gonna do today is, as my teas do get more expensive, I am gonna start offering smaller sizes. I can't get too small. Like I can't do like 8 grams, I don't think, because like shipping. I think I lose money in shipping sometimes. My shipping needs to get figured out. But yeah, because I'm shipping from China, like I can't just ship like 1 8-gram sample, I don't think. Well, maybe. I'll look into that. Oh man. So the yellow teas are just that mouthfeel is so complex. And almost like that. It's just thicker. It's tingly, like the fermentation for like the ferment, like when you eat something fermented, like sauerkraut. Talking about exceptions to rules, that's not a good start. God, that's really good. That is, oh man, because you have this thick body, or thicker, like for green tea, like yeah, no, I call it thick body. You got this thick body, and it's thick like Malfung, but it's more forward. Malfung is interesting because it's like thick but light. No, this is thick and strong, like flavorful. Um, Cooked veggies and peas and um, all that good stuff. But then so you have this thickness, but then it's just super clean on the finish, and that thickness goes away really nicely. Yeah, so and I've heard it best described as just the fermentation taste. Things fermented have a flavor. Sauerkraut, kimchi, yogurt, not so much. Sometimes different. Um, and so when things are fermented, they have that taste, and that's sourdough bread. Um, so yeah, that tingly, that warmth, that almost it. And with silver needle, it kind of matches very nicely with the hairy taste, because this actually tastes very, very similar to a silver needle, in that sort of light but thick. Actually, that's a really good way to think about it. This tastes a lot like a silver needle. That light but thick kind of comparison there. Nutty notes and whatnot. This is really good. Really good. It's stronger than silver needle. Yeah, maybe not sourdough. Yeah, sourdough is a little different. I think sauerkraut. I think that's for me. I'm just trying to think of other fermented things. I guess sourdough is not fermented. Other teas can have that sourdough taste. Huangyan Yellow. Is this like is this like a yellow tea that's only made of needles? I've had a few things where like a few greens or whatnot that was only needles. Thought it was a little gimmicky. I've had green teas that when you only have the needles. I once had green tea that was only needles and it tasted just like a yellow. Not as good as this, but that second steep is much stronger. Not much stronger, but like it's okay. It's okay. It's a little flat. It's a little flat. I think that's the best way to say it. It just seems to lack a little bit of flavor, a little bit of to it, a little bit of depth, a little bit of fullness. It tastes like a not well made silver needle, like a silver needle that's like has used electronic baking and this machine and that machine and from not great fields. It's a thing that exists more because of the name. Junshan. Okay, that's a different story. The June. Oh yes, yes, I have had that. I have had that, and I have had when I was working at Tea Drunk. Um, she offered a massively expensive one. Um, and yes, I have had the Junshan Yinjian. Um, I have had that, and I'd be very curious to have it again um, because I had it when I was working at Tea Drunk, and she offered it, and it was massively expensive. Um, and and I'd be curious to have it again, just because my understanding of teas and flavors is much different. Um, it is. Oh, it's fantastic. That is a completely different story. Um, that is just I almost don't even. That is one of those teas where like it's actually if you tasted the cow fence dip, it's that same sort of thing where it's like there but it's not there and it's complex but it's not. You almost can't focus on it or else you'll lose it. It's very similar to the flavor profile of cow fence dip or that the flavor kind of patterns of cow fence dip. Um, Complexity, but very lively, very yeah. I think very similar to the Calvin's dip, and I'll be very interested to try it again now that I've had more. I've drinking so much more green teas and actually not too many more yellow teas, um, but and also not working at Tea Drunk anymore. You know, it's very easy to work at if you work at a place. Um, Yeah, and that's what I've seen. Nah, you don't. You get these teas that are gimmicky, where they're like, it's a green tea, but it's only the buds, and then you're just like, that's a bad idea. Don't do that. No. Or they're trying new things, and you know the on the label on paper it sounds great. You know, it's a tea, but it's picked by monkeys. Like that's a terrible idea. Doesn't make good tea. Yeah, it's like that. Like, why would you do that? Why would you do that? That doesn't make good tea. Oh, because it sounds cool. So we're just going to drink the bottom here. We're going to go right to the strong stuff. The stuff made from, because actually by how the Junshan Yinjian, I actually don't think is just needle. It's been a long time, but I don't, maybe it is. You know, I guess it is. Huh. No, I guess that is too. Is that one? Oh, it's better. Yeah, but interesting that Ju Qing is not. It's well known and it's around a lot, but it hasn't reached. There's no okay. Let me say there's no only bud teas that are in like the top famous, like the most expensive, the most well known, the most famous teas are never, except for by how in green teas, are never just bud. You know, when we're talking about greens and yellows, you need the leaf. You can't just have an only bud green tea. So yeah, so you have them on the market and people will talk about them, but like when we're drinking the heavy hitters and we're really drinking some, and people are pulling out the good teas, and you know you're with the professionals, um, the buds for greens and yellows you can't only have buds. And honestly, I think even for reds you can't only have buds. Like I know there's like Jinju Mei. Yeah, and there's a thing. It is a thing, and it can be good. And it's not a bad tea, but I think when you only have the buds, there's a limit. There's a ceiling to the flavor. You know, and you can't. There's a certain level of complexity you're just not going to get. There's a certain level of there's a level of complexity you're just not going to get. There's a ceiling. There's only so good it can be. There's only so many. There's only so many flavors. Yeah, and I would even question reds, to be honest, because you know Jinju Mei was. I'm skeptical about Jinju Mei. I need to look into Jinju Mei more. Um, Actually, it was Shunan from Tea Junk who talked about it sometimes, and she said that making a green tea out of only buds was like making a steak out of veal. Like veal is veal, but for steak you need a full-grown cow. You cannot use a baby cow. Yeah, I haven't looked into it too much, and it's an area that I'm not very proficient in. And so now I'm in Wuishan, I can try more. Um, there's definitely some. I can look into Jinju Mei more, but nothing I've tasted has got me very excited. All right, I'm about to be cut out, so I gotta go. The dogs haven't been fed. Thanks for stopping. Bye. Uh, oh yeah, those are Salmaka Reds. Salmaka Reds. Whoo! That's what's that. Salmaka Reds. That's red tea. There's a fucking tea. There's some tea. God, I'll even get down on some Assams, yo. Once again, for me, and I got 30 seconds. For me, Jinju Mei just has just it's sweet, it's this, it's that, but complexity. There's good tea. It can be a good tea, but I feel like it can never really be a great tea. It can't really make that jump. Yeah. All right. I got 10 seconds. Thank you. Thank you. Goodbye. Goodbye. 3, 2, 1. Share to Instagram TV.